Hello students. So in yesterday's class we have started with the chapter and the chapter name is Introduction to Psychology. Okay, so this chapter basically introduce you to the world of psychology or the subject psychology. Okay, so we had started with the information or the little bit introduction about the psychology. So we have studied, I think it was a very short class, the last class, and we have studied on a little bit. So I will just give you, that is enough for the introduction, and we shall move to the important things that we have to know in psychology. Okay, so these are the things you have to know when you start with the subject psychology. Okay, so yeah, what is psychology? Okay, in the yesterday's class I told you that psychology is basically understanding human behavior. Okay, so yeah, here is a little simple definition about psychology. Okay, psychology is a scientific study of how people think, feel and behave. So I already told you it is basically understanding the human behavior. So it is always related to how people think, how they feel and how they behave. Okay, so psychology is a scientific study of how people think, feel and behave. Sigmund Freud is father of psychoanalytic theory. So he is one of the most important person in psychology. Sigmund Freud is the father of psychoanalytic theory. He is not father of psychology, he is father of psychoanalytic theory, and this person is very important in the subject psychology. So you have to know about Sigmund Freud. So Wilhelm Wundt, Wilhelm Wundt, is called as the father of experimental psychology. So he is called as the father of psychology, Wilhelm Wundt. Okay, so we shall continue. So the next thing which we have to focus on is the journey through the field of psychology begins with the definitions. So how the definitions of the psychology emerged. Okay, so derivation of the term and the literal meaning. Psychology is a recent science. When compared to other scientific disciplines, there has been a virtual explosion in psychological research. As a result, psychological theories and concepts have been evolving and changing continuously over a period of time. There is no single definition of psychology. The multitude of definitions can be attributed to the relatively short history that psychology has and its fast evolving concept. So as I already told you, there is no particular definition of psychology because from last many years, okay, last few years and the history tells us that it emerged in different time periods, and it has different definitions given by different persons. Okay, so the first definition of psychology is study of soul. Okay, when the first invented definition of psychology is study of soul. Okay, psychology is derived from two Greek words, psyche meaning soul and logos meaning study. Okay, so psychology is derived from two Greek words. This is very important. You can mark it or you can write in your notebook. So it is derived from two Greek words. Psyche means soul and logos means study. Okay, according to psychology. Accordingly, psychology was defined as the study of soul. This definition was one of the oldest and was proposed by Aristotle. So this is one of the oldest definition of psychology. So it was defined as study of soul and it was proposed by Aristotle. So everything I have marked in a bracket. So it was proposed by Aristotle, and the oldest definition of psychology was, it is derived as a study of soul, and psychology is derived from two Greek words, psyche meaning soul and logos meaning study. Okay, The existence of the soul could not be proved. It was considered as a non maternal entity that is independent of the body. Hence, it was not considered a fit object for study. So, soul, I think you all know what is meant by soul, something which is not seen or not heard or not felt. Okay, soul is something that is not, we can't see that. Okay, so that is why this definition that is derived from the the psychology is derived as a study of soul, okay, that was rejected, or it was not apt or proper for defining psychology. So the next definition came. The second definition was study of mind. Psychology was then defined as the study of mind, a definition that appeared better than the one that said psychology was a study of soul. So the next step, so now they decided that the study of soul was not proper to describe the word psychology. So now there is another thing, that is study of mind. So now the psychology is defined as study of mind. Okay, psychologists believed that all they knew of their fellow beings was through their actions and overt behavior. They did not know whether the mysterious entity called the mind was behind this activity. Anyway, there was no meaning in studying it when behavior could provide us with all that we wanted to know about an individual. So even this was not proper, the study of mind. Even this was not apt definition of psychology, because it is something mysterious entity. It is not seen. Even the mind is not seen. Even the soul is not seen. And a person's we can understand a person only through his behavior, his gestures, gestures, postures, actions. Okay, and yeah, many things which we can see, which we can witness. Okay, so hence this two definition, study of soul and study of mind, was rejected. Okay, so the third one, study of consciousness. Consciousness is defined as awareness of our environment and our mental process. So the third definition is study of consciousness, and consciousness is defined as awareness of our environment. So we have to be aware what is going around us, our environment, and how you're perfect. Okay, so your mental process, so your thinking, your reasoning, okay, so your speaking, everything is proper. Okay, your mental ability is proper, so that is called as consciousness. And towards the end of 19th century, a group of psychologists under the leadership of Wilhelm Moon defined psychology as the study of consciousness. Okay, so many psychologists under the leadership of Wilhelm Moon, I think I already told you that he is the father of psychology. And this psychologist under the leadership of Wilhelm Moon defined psychology as study of consciousness. Okay, and he established the first psychological laboratory at Leipzig in the year 1879. Okay, so this is very important. The first psychological laboratory was in Leipzig in the year 1879. He emphasized the fact that man is endowed with consciousness, that is, awareness of his surroundings and of himself. So the man, the individual, have to be aware of his surroundings, environment, and he has to be aware of himself. Okay, of the inside him. Okay, himself. Okay, so the next thing, so this is Wilhelm Moon, the father of psychology. So this definition was found to be inadequate because conscious experience is subjective in nature. Each person may have a direct knowledge of events going on in his consciousness, but other people have no access to it. So here even this was rejected. Even this definition was rejected because the conscious may show that consciousness. Okay, the consciousness may be defined because the individual may be aware of his surrounding. Okay, the individual may be aware of the surrounding, the environment, and himself. Okay, and what is going on in his consciousness, but the other person, okay, the person who is front of him or the other neighbor or other person will not know. Okay, so will not know, so that's why this definition also was dropped. So the next definition is study of behavior. Okay, psychology as a study of mental life, the mind or consciousness came under attack as vague and unscientific. Okay, so all these definitions went in vain. So the new definition was study of behavior. Between the 1920s and 1950s, psychologists preferred to define their discipline as a study of behavior, as what people do, unlike what they think or feel, can be directly observed and measured. Hence, psychology was defined as a scientific study of behavior. So, later, between the time period of 1920 and 1950s, psychologists defined psychology as scientific study of behavior. Okay, psychologists, fourth line, psychologists use the term behavior to refer to the action of person or animal that can be observed and measured by others. So it is not just you have to know yourself or you know your surroundings, other persons also have to know you. So they define psychology as scientific study of behavior, where other persons will also be able to see your actions, behavior, or your thought process. Okay, um, sixth line, examples of behavior could range from an infant trying to babble, a child working out on a task, an adult engrossed in an activity, to a rat running through a maze. In addition, it also studies how the behavior is affected by an organism's physical and mental state and external environment. Okay, its subject matter also includes behavioral processes that are observable, such as gestures and speech. It focuses on the thoughts, feelings, and actions of people. It assesses an individual's perception, reasoning process, memory, and also the biological activities that maintain bodily functions. Further, the broad perspective of psychology attempts to describe, predict, and explain human behavior. It also helps to change and improve the lives of people and the world in which they live. So, here, the fourth definition, study of behavior, scientific study of behavior. So, here it is even the other persons can see your actions and behavior, and it also says that the behavior shows your thoughts, actions, feelings, and the way you perceive a situation, the way you reason to any situation. Okay, so all this behavior, all these characters, all these actions, feelings, which can be read by others, so hence psychology is defined as study of behavior. Okay, so we shall stop here, we shall continue in the next class.